Nothing comes before God. Not your mom, not your dad, not your wife, not your children. Nothing comes before God. So your race shouldn't come before your God either. And you have to now call into question people who actually, and if you're one of these people, then just, this isn't an attack on you, but this is something for you to examine yourself on. If you believe that your race is even as important as God, God forbid you believe it's even more important than God, then you don't worship God. You worship your race. You put something before God. Somebody said, I'm not sure this is even a real question. Now, it sounds so ridiculous, but it is unfortunately a real question for a lot of people. A lot of people really have to sit there, start, you know what I mean? Like, what is it, like caressing their chin hair, their beard? I don't know, man. Start, you know what I mean, tapping on their forehead. I gotta really think about this. Let's see the results. Okay, so far we got 100% of people saying the Most High. All right, beautiful. But for those, go ahead, please, you have something to say?
Go ahead.
For those who would say both are just as important, again, where do you find any biblical justification for that? Where is the biblical justification for saying that anything is on the level of the Most High? Didn't God say there's nothing, what is it in Isaiah? There's no God beside me. If there's not an effing God on his level, what makes you think there's a human being or a race of human beings that are on his level? Nigga, Jesus Christ is not on his level. But you're going to say your race is? But even with white nationalists or Christian nationalists, these are European, Caucasian Christians who, well, they say they believe in God, but they will say they are race first, God second. And that ideology, regardless of if it's our people doing it, white people doing it, whatever people doing it, is a problem if you're going to purport that you believe in the God of the Bible. Let me get a couple verses real quick. And I want to say this too. People might get this misconstrued and act, or not act, but question whether or not I'm saying race is important. Race is definitely important. Because, watch this, is your family important? There's laws that say honor your mother and your father. There's laws that say husbands love your wives, and wives love your husbands, love your children. What does that illustrate? That your family is important. And what is your race? Your race is just your extended family. What is the definition of race? It comes from the Latin word raza, which means people descending from a common ancestor. That's what your family is. Your family are the people that descend from your great-grandfather. You know, you go to a family reunion, all the grandchildren are gathered around their great-grandfather or grandfather because you're all the same stock. So no one would say that your family is not important. But is family as important as God? No. But is it one of the most important things? Absolutely. That race is one of the most important things. But it's certainly not the only important thing, and God is absolutely not more important or even as important as God. And I think this shouldn't be anything controversial. But I'll just use myself as an example, and I'll go against former Hassad, I guess, so to speak. When I would teach, oftentimes somebody will walk by that I perceive is an Israelite. What do I mean perceive as an Israelite? Some nigga who I think is, oh, he looks black. All right, cool. Well, he looks Mexican. All right, you look Mexican. Hey, imagine he walks by camp. Hey, what's up, bro? What's your nationality? That's the first question you ask. What's your nationality? Not, hey, do you believe in God? What is your race? This decision that you had no choice in making. What is this thing that you were just born as? What is it? What if he says, I don't know. You know, my dad was adopted. All right, my nigga, you look black enough. So let's come break bread. Where's that at in the Bible? Where did the apostles do that? Where did Jeremiah do that? Where did Isaiah do that? Where did Christ do that? You know, the focus was not on them. The focus was not on their race. Their focus was on their God. Getting people to build orphanages. Let's say this guy builds 100 orphanages. He builds a brand new HBCU. He just helps all types of black and Hispanic people. He solves world hunger. Let's say that. He solves world hunger, and he's just the greatest guy ever. He has no right to have any access to God because of what race he is. But P. Diddy and R. Kelly and the worst nigga that you know who sold drugs to his best friend's mother and to pregnant women, he can live a whole life of evil, and you would have to say that that guy is better.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to you.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, Hashem, YAHAWASHI, Hashem, Rakwah, Quadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to mighty Akim, Wathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity, as well as a speckled bird that may look like the other nation, but are actually Yasharala. This is Brother Kawako coming at you with no lesson. Today's lesson is going to be on this. I don't know why. Okay, first off, John 7 verse 24, judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. And I don't know why, but I've been hearing so many different so-called Israelites, or people that claim to be Israelites but were clearly not, saying that they left, they this, they that. They don't even know the name of Yahweh Shai. There's all these, I kind of want to say fake, but it's probably, that's not, I don't think it's fair to say that. But all these what's the word, internet Israelites, all right, that are over here saying all these different things, and how, oh yeah, I'm an Israelite, I'm this, I'm that, and the third, or whatever, and they all had the same thing. Which, by the way, if you were keeping up with the videos I was making, you would have seen that a lot of the videos I made, people were saying, or different people were saying, oh, the Israelites only care about your skin color, this, that, and the third, and whatnot. When I don't know how I literally said it, and many different brothers have said that it is not about skin color. All right, so it baffles me that Hassad over here, Brother Hassad, is okay. Well, fucking hell, bro. It just baffles me that Hassad is over here having, I don't know, been in a camp. You know, he's now over here basically saying the exact same, like, false stuff that that Christians were saying. And with his knowledge, how is he just being so bold in saying this type of stuff? Which it all goes back, you know, speaking as a man, this is just my, you know, opinion, my honest opinion, that he has to be doing this on purpose. Like, there's evil intent behind it, because it's so ridiculous to me that he knows better. Hell, I'll even say he probably knows more than me. All right, and I can admit that. All right, I'm not proud enough to say, oh yeah, I'm smarter than him and whatnot, or I know more breakdown. I definitely don't know more breakdowns than him. But the fact of the matter is that he's over here, like, continuing to perpetuate the incorrect, false stereotype that being an Israelite is about your skin color. So I genuinely just do not understand, like, what is he doing? Like, well, obviously there I do partially kind of see, you know, what it is, and at the end of the day, you know, it is about the money. All right, because that was what what's his name? Deacon Genesis, I believe. I think that's the title he goes by now. He basically posted, I'm trying to remember so I don't lie, but basically he was responding to someone's comment that said, Deacon, you said that if you were trying to make money, you would preach all nations can be saved. And he basically kind of admitted to it partially, but he changed it to say, he said he would teach Christianity, or he would do it in Christianity type of way. So technically, I in all fairness, I still think that it's just proper to say that it's the same thing. Like, you don't teach the Bible and say that, oh, it's technically it's not technically it's not my intention because I'm not teaching Christianity. I'm still teaching being an Israelite, but I'm just letting the heathens join and whatnot. Well, and I just thought of another precept, Slakia, on Ezra 4. Ezra chapter 4, verse 1. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord power of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel, and to the chief of the fathers, and said unto them, Let us build with you, for we seek your power, as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Ashur, which brought us up hither. Verse 3, But Zerubbabel and Joshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord power of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, hath commanded us. Basically, they said, we do not want your help. You can leave, right? And stuff like that. So they did not allow heathens to be associated with the worship of YAHAWAH. They specifically said, you are not associated with us, and you are not going to be able to partake in our worship of YAHAWAH. And it's clear, it's literally that simple. Yet, it just slocky. Yet, you have this thing where now the whole Genesis thing. They're now trying to say, okay, well, new stuff, new rules, where they're making new rules now to include heathens. All right, Slakia, I had the thing muffled. That was my fault. But yeah, this is why things are. Let me actually get more. All right, to continue on. Romans chapter 16, verse 17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause division and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them, for they that are such serve not our Lord Yahawashi and Mashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. All right, so right here, it says that there are going to be people that are going to be preaching contrary to the doctrine that we've learned, contrary to the doctrine that is right, all right, in order to serve their own belly. And just as I had previously mentioned, because I have the video, I don't remember which video. I have way too many videos to look through if I were to find it. But basically, again, as I said before, someone had commented saying, Deacon, didn't you say that if you were trying to make money, you would preach all nations can be saved? And then he basically said, yes, but technically, only Christianity. That's basically what he said. But again, if we're being honest and if we're being fair, that I think that's a cop-out answer to kind of absolve himself of responsibility for having said that in the first place. All right. Anyway, continuing on. What was it? The next thing. Oh yeah. So 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Basically, the thing here is how people, the general consensus right now of the mainstream media, if you will, if ever anyone speaks on us Israelites, they always say, "Oh, we only care about skin color. Oh, if you're black, then that means you're an Israelite. If you're not an Israelite. If I don't know. No, that was it. If you are not so-called black, then you are not an Israelite. That's basically what people are saying and associating us with, when that could not be further from the truth, because that is not how stuff works. And I think it's incredibly funny that we've explained this type of stuff so many times, all right, because most, if not all, Israelites should already know this. Numbers chapter 1 verse 18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers according to the numbers of their names, from 20 years old and upwards by their polls. Basically, the thing here is that you are an Israelite not based off of your appearance, but it's based off of who your father is, based off of your bloodline. That is what determines that you are an Israelite or not. Not your what's the word? Not your appearance, your phenotype. Okay, it's your bloodline. All right. All right. So as a result of that, that's where you have the so many people. Because, and I also go back this. Cause if I go back on the thing, you will literally see, just typing in on the search bar, Blake Griffin. I've searched this man up so many times. Pause, and to be an example at what on how to spot, or not necessarily how to spot, but an example of how being an Israelite is not dependent on your appearance, because he is. I'm not gonna look him up anymore. I hate doing that shit. But basically, he is not dark skinned. All right, he looks like an Edomite, and his son looks like is freaking blonde hair. All right, so all this stuff about it's your appearance. That is wrong. All right, it's just flat out wrong, and people keep on saying that same thing as if acting as if that's true, when so many people should already know that that's true. And if they already know that it's not true, then they're just lying to continue to make Israelites look bad. All right, so it's just a ridiculous thing for people to be saying stuff like that. All right, what was it? Oh yeah. Okay, so Slovakia. So basically, let's say where's the next one? Where was I at? Oh yeah, here. So Romans 8 verse 16, the Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahawah. Okay, so our ethnicity is not determined by our appearance. It is determined based off the spirit. Like, there's a spirit resonate with someone, you can see like, okay, this person kind of seems more like a Jake. And oftentimes you'll see people that sometimes gravitate more towards Israelite stuff, because there are people like I kind of want to use. I don't have any good examples actually. I'm trying to think of an example. Who the fuck is? Okay, I don't have an example, but the main thing that I am trying to say is how the main thing that I'm trying to illustrate is that sometimes the most Jakeist person or whatever, all right, might actually just be someone that looks like an Edomite or looks like a so-called Moabite or whatever, all right, because there are people that look there are Jakes that look like the other nations. As I said, the speckled bird, they look like the other nations, but they're actually Yasharallah. Because again, as I've always said this a million times, let's say 1,000 years ago, I went and I lived in China and I married a Chinese woman. I have a son with that Chinese woman. All right, our kid is lighter than me, but he has those Chinese features, and he goes and gets with a completely different Chinese woman. All right, and then he has a kid with that Chinese woman, and that kid continues to get lighter and lighter and having more and more Asian features until today, after the 1,000 years pass, and then we're up here today, then that descendant is still going to be an Israelite because of me, not because of what he looks like. His ethnicity doesn't change regardless of if he only knows fucking Chinese, all right, and then is after a few years he just stopped learning all the stuff from my side of the family or whatever, and then he just only focused on, oh yeah, I'm only doing this Chinese stuff, I'm only doing this, I'm only doing that, whatever. And then look at how he is what's the word, look at how he turned out. All right, so next, Obadiah chapter 1 verse 18, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. Basically, thing here is that Edomites cannot receive salvation, and trying to, and I don't know why he was trying to say, like, think of all of, if an Edomite did something good, well, that literally does not matter, because the Lord literally said that he's going to be destroyed. And on top of that, Esau is not, he's the one who put all the bad stuff in the first place. It's the reason for a lot of the bad stuff going on in the first place. But yet but yet Slakia, Jake and people like this are always trying to find some way to save Esau. All right, John 4:22, ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. And it literally says that clear cut, that salvation is for the Jews, Israelites. All right. 2 Corinthians chapter 2. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse. Let me just go here. Jeremiah chapter 48 verse 10. Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully, and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood. And there are people like this that just can't, that don't want to tell the full truth, because, okay, well, this is going to get in the way of my money, this is going to get in the way of X, Y, and Z and whatnot. So then they withhold certain scriptures and certain truths in order to please their people. All right, let's get that, and then we'll end here. Isaiah chapter 30 verse 10, which says to the seer, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Okay, people don't want to hear the truth. So with that, I pray this was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, BaHashem, YAHAWASHI, BaHashem, Rakwah, Quadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Abad, and Shalom.